Good morning, Guyana. Good morning. Welcome down to another episode of Fun, Fit, and Healthy. Coral, your resident trainer, here with you from the beginning. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a very interesting week, challenging week. The Guyanese critic is not back yet, so he'll be back soon enough. We're hoping to get some sessions in with him next week, so we'll be going to should be going to Mr. Muhammad's facility this weekend. The following week to do some sessions there. So hopefully we get Guyanese critic on there. I'm being told that it's going to be a real possibility. It was a tough week. Tough week in the sense of the emotional side of things for me personally. Before we start, I would want to touch on a particular topic that I'm passionate about. I've been passionate for years. Two things I'm typically very passionate about is domestic violence and suicide. And I personally experienced a friend of mine that I know, I've known for a little while. He took his life this week, and it's kind of helped to really put things in perspective, and the necessity for mental health and physical health is one of the things that kind of aids with improving your mental health. So these are things that we tend to neglect. The benefits, tangential benefit of exercise is helping you to balance and come to a more homogeneous state itself, and helping you to live a better life, overall improve mood and all the different kind of things. So today, I'm not going to be too exhaustive with the show today. It'll be very short and sweet, but we'll be focusing on three main areas that I believe, and all the fitness enthusiasts would share with you, are the key main areas. And we've touched on these things obviously before in the show, but the three main areas that are most integral towards achieving your fitness pursuits, and those would be the areas of your sleep, areas of your eating, and the area of your physical output or your exercise program, your exercise regimen, right? So we'll start with the least. I always consider the smallest portion of that pie. It's a pie. Most people say it's about 20% of the work, and that is the actual exercise that you do, right? The exercise portion of your fitness regimen is arguably the smallest portion of it, because you shouldn't exercise for longer than 2 hours, first of all, but that portion of your day is just where you are doing the spending portion of your exercise of your fitness regimen, where you're trying to burn off calories that you've consumed, and you're trying to activate your storages in your body to facilitate your weight loss and overall body development. So the exercise portion of it is about 20%, they say. All right, 20% of your program is that. And with balancing the exercise, it's important that you understand, first of all, your body type, the exercises that are suited for your body type. I think early in the show we talked about the different somatotypes that exist, which are the ectomorphic, endomorphic, and mesomorphic body types. Now, each particular body type has a specific physical requirement or physical capacity and capability that you need to pay attention to when you're designing the exercise portion of your the trifecta. We talked about the sleep, eating, and exercise. So exercise it has to be tailored and favorable to your body type. Typically, people that are endomorphic can work out longer, have a slower metabolism, and they require a bit more. They can work a bit more extended period to extend their body's burning potential. Ectomorphic people, which are the skinnier, faster metabolism people, tend to need to have short, intense workouts to facilitate the most or maximize on their body's potential. And then we have the mesomorphic people, which are straight down the middle, that typically have it easier than everybody else. Those are people they consider God's gift, God's favorite, they say. So those persons typically I see the most favorable results in the shortest time, and they can work out extended periods and also work out shorter periods and still see a bit of maximization from their efforts. Right? So knowing your body type is important, and what your body is capable of. In addition to the exercises, you must be able to pick an exercise program or exercise regimen that is favorable to your body, that you're not doing too much damage. There are certain types of exercises that put extreme fatigue on the body. You must know your body type and your body's level before you actually start exercising. You must, for example, what I do at my facility when you come to train with me first, the first thing I do is I make an assessment of your ailments. Now, some people might have physical ailments like problems with their knees, problems with their spine, other health-related issues that you need to be aware of before you're actually starting picking and starting a particular exercise regimen. So you must be aware of what your physical standpoint is. So the first thing you do at any facility you go to, or anybody you go into a trainer, when you're trying to develop a plan, you must try to assess where you are physically. You must know where you are, where your starting point is. So what we do at the facilities, we do what is called, or what we like to call a stress tester, where we try to work out the entire body and establish a baseline as to where this person's level of fitness is. Now, a stress tester is a stress tester. You want to see what you're capable of, where the deficits are. Other things that contribute to a person, what you should be aware of when you're deciding on the exercise portion, is where some people have imbalances in their body. Depending on your lifestyle, the type of job you do. Sometimes you probably have stronger muscles in the front of your body and weaker muscles in your back. You have it's anterior and posterior chain. So sometimes some people have imbalances in their body that makes certain exercises disfavorable. Not impossible, but disfavorable, and they tend to have difficulty doing those exercises as opposed to others where their bodies develop strength already in those areas. So knowing the type of exercise is very important. Knowing how your body is currently, your current level is important, because all these things contribute to how your exercise output goes. Again, we said exercise is 20% of the work. Now, with exercise, also you must understand that you don't start this house from the roof. You don't start from the roof. You start gradually. Incremental growth is better when it comes to, or incremental strength increase. When we had Martin, you alluded to this, where you spoke about, we add on 2 pounds. Incremental growth is better than you going in the gym or going in a facility and trying to start at the highest level. You start at the foundation. You build a solid foundation for your exercise. What I would also recommend before starting any kind of exercise program that involves you lifting things and putting things down, you must at least have, or at least start with some kind of cardio regimen. Strict cardio. It doesn't have to be high intensity in the beginning. You can do what's called low steady state cardio. That's simple as walking 3 to 5 miles at a low steady pace, just to get your heart and lungs working. You call it cardiovascular system working in conjunction together. Because with exercise, there are certain things going on internally. If we described shows before, we talked about aerobic training and anaerobic training. Aerobic training being training that is predicated on oxygen delivery to your muscles. So if your heart and lungs are working optimally, you won't necessarily get that oxygen delivery to your muscles, and your oxygen is transferred in your body through your blood. In your blood also has certain minerals and vitamins that your body will need for anaerobic training, which are responses in your body that require more chain reactions, more chemical processes activating to get you to perform. So oxygen delivery for aerobic training, oxygen and nutrients getting to your muscles for them to perform for anaerobic training. Now, again, however you particularly constitute your exercise regimen, it must be suitable for your body type. It must be agreeable to you in a biomechanically favorable way. All right. There are certain things that have, for example, let me give you an example. This boxer recently, Mr. Ali Kak, he's a boxer, he's an athlete, and he experienced a thing called rhabdomyolysis, right? And with this particular illness, this happens when you've overexerted yourself and your body tends to produce, you tend to destroy a lot of blood vessels, a lot too quickly, and then your body becomes, it's injurious to your body. You become poisoned more or less. People tend to have blood in the urine, all these kind of things as a result of experiencing this condition, and your body literally begins to shut down. Now, and then that happened to a high performing athlete. Imagine you, who are now starting out in health and fitness, and you're trying to outperform where you currently are, and without paying any attention to where you are, and you hurt yourself, and you create other issues that you'd have to be set back from your original plan, right? So understanding your exercise portion is very, very important. Exercise is 20%, but it's very, very integral to expending the calories you have stored in your body. You understand? So exercise is important. We cannot neglect the relevance of it. All right. Exercise also helps, again, with overall mood improvement. There's the physical benefit to your body from having the exercise portion of your that trifecta we described, the exercise, food, sleep, right? So exercise must have it, must be present, but in terms of scale of importance, it is a little bit smaller than the other two I'm going to get to now. We're going to talk about the sleep portion now of what is required. Well, not required. I think, again, the trifecta that actually maximizes your benefit to starting your fitness endeavors. Now, sleep. I did a very lazy thing the last time we talked about sleep. I played a video, but again, I played the video because the guy kind of summarized everything quite adequately. He gave you all the information that's relevant to the importance of sleep and what sleep does for the human body. All right. We cannot neglect sleep. Sleep is when your body actually does its repair and recovery. Now we have to understand with sleep. So there are phases of sleep. There's NREM sleep, and then there's REM sleep. REM sleep and non-rapid REM, rapid eye movement, and then there's NREM, which is non-rapid eye movement sleep. Now a lot of us, and some of you might have experienced this before, where you would have gone to sleep, and woken up feeling tired, right? And that is something that happens when you haven't necessarily achieved REM sleep. And this also happens, I don't know if some of you might have experienced where you would have gone to sleep, and for 5 minutes or less, and when you wake up feeling kind of refreshed, those power naps in the afternoon some people take, and you would have experienced feeling a bit more refreshed and in a short space of time. Well, all that means is that you've been able to achieve your REM phases of sleep. Now, the REM phase of sleep is very, very integral. That is the portion of your sleep where your body really shuts down, your organs begin to prioritize your digestive function and the systems that keep you alive, while it's doing its repair of the organs and muscles that you destroyed. So if you had your exercise regimen and you did what you needed to do, you destroyed them and you broke yourself down in the gym, you need to have a period where your body recuperates from the assault or the trauma that you put your body through. And I use those negative words, but when you exercise, you are creating micro tears in your muscle fibers, and those micro tears need to heal. The benefit that sleep offers you is when you've had adequate amounts of sleep and your body has achieved REM and you're able to recover, you are able to repair those muscles. Those muscles repair stronger. All right, they repair a lot stronger, and you are able to maximize on your results. Right, sleep, like exercise, also helps with mood improvement. Getting adequate levels of sleep also helps to control your appetite. There are lots of studies that show that people who get limited amounts of sleep tend to eat more. They're always in an appetite stimulant phase, and they tend to eat more. And again, when you eat more, you have more calories in your body that your body has to take care of now. And if you don't have the activity to burn it off, you're not able to successfully achieve your goals. Right? So sleep is very, very important. We cannot ignore its value to the process. Sleeping also helps the body to regulate itself, right? Hormones are very, very, very important part of our body, or what's called the endocrine system. Sleep helps to positively impact the endocrine system. It helps, particularly the hormone testosterone. It helps, which is generated in the body. Those things, sleep helps to help with the promotion and production of key hormones that are relevant to our fitness lives, right? So sleep, I would give sleep about, give sleep 30% of value in terms of overall benefit in the trifecta that we've described earlier. So sleep, get some sleep. What some studies are coming out that are telling, or not telling, they're showing that these devices, these things that we have that tend to keep us up all the time, light, and a lot of devices are coming with blue light filters and all different kind of things. But the light emitting from these devices that we're always on tends to keep our bodies overstimulated and diminishes sleep quality. So what a good thing to do is probably to have a lot of phones, a lot of software is being developed in these newer smartphones that have built-in software that tells you when to shut down and gives you advice on when to shut down using your device, because the extended exposure tends to affect sleep cycles, and that's not a good thing. Sleep cycles can be affected for a myriad of reasons. One being elevated stress levels. So it's really a cyclical kind of thing, because you may have elevated stress levels as a result of not sleeping. And if you get some adequate sleep, your stress levels can tend to go down a bit, and again contribute to better overall mood. The persons who suffer from insomnia in particular, if you look at somebody that suffers from insomnia, they tend to be very, very emaciated looking, because their body's not getting into the phase where it's getting to adequately break down and utilize, or not, break down and appropriate, I should say, your nutrients that you're putting in your body. So no sleep equates to skinniness. Now I'm saying you're a weight person or an under muscled person. We put your narrative, you're under muscled, you're gonna starve yourself of sleep and think your body is going to positively respond to that. No, because if you're under muscle, you typically have heightened appetites, and lack of sleep would actually increase your appetite and cause you to eat more, consume more calories, therein working counter to the benefit of having enough sleep. So again, we cannot ignore the value of sleep and its importance to our overall fitness goals, right? Now, I'm getting to the big portion. I would have always talked about this. I think we've talked about this at length, and that is food, right? Intake. Food. And left on for last, because it is, I would consider, the biggest component. It's half of the trifecta. It's half of it. Food. Yeah, on the show we talked about with the food and intake, you always want to know first and foremost what your caloric needs are, right? Not everybody has the same type of lifestyle. Not everybody has the same caloric requirement. So it's important to first start off knowing how many calories your body needs. Now, to break it down, calories do not mean fat. Calories are simply units of energy that a particular food will provide you once your body has metabolized it and broken it down. So water, for example, has no calories, so you won't get any kind of calories from water. But let's take a beer. If you like to drink beers, these are called empty calories to it. A beer has an average about 140 to 180 calories, typically, depending on the manufacturer. Now, you ain't gonna drink. Nobody drinks one beer nowadays. Some people drink 5, some people drink 10 beers. And you put all of that into your body, and your body now has to break it down. And it doesn't have the activity. It's very, very hard for you to burn off 1,000 plus calories. You know, I typically go for long jogs. I run for an average 2 to 3 hours nonstop, and I burn about 2,800 calories. Well, according to the calorie counter on my tracker, thereabout. So I had to do 3 hours of work to burn off 2,000 calories. That's a lot. It's a lot, and how life is set up, we don't necessarily have the time to do all of that. Those things we have to condense our lives and make the time to do these things. So it's better for you to just watch what is going into your tank up front, manage that, and you'll be fine. Right? With the eating, again, as I said, we first need to know how much your body needs. And I recommend you guys going on this website, calculator.net. It's a very, very useful site if you're trying to start your plan. And go on calculator.net, plug in your values, and you will be able to know definitively what your caloric intake should be to maintain, what your caloric intake should be to reduce. Typically, do you want to create a caloric deficit about 500 calorie points per depending on your lifestyle. So if for example, your lifestyle requires about 2,000 calories per day, from 1,500 calorie deficit diets would be the key thing to maintain to lose weight. Also, we also factor in let me circle back to that. Yeah, so knowing what your caloric intake should be is important. We also have to figure out also, like, if you have health complications, things like diabetes, pregnancy, and all these different kind of things, you must be able to understand if there's certain types of food that have particular responses in your system, so you want to stay away from those. Obviously, a person that has diabetes doesn't process sugar as well. When people hear sugar, they think sugar is palatable sugar that you can taste, but all carbohydrates, everything that's carbohydrate enriched, becomes sugar in your body. Your body breaks it down, and it becomes sugar and instant fuel in your body, right? So in order we must be able to manage the intake. We must know our caloric intake, your overall numbers, and you must be able to set up a diet that has a particular composition of the macronutrients that you need to survive, which are your fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, right? Minerals and vitamins, the body doesn't necessarily store those. You tend to synthesize those, and based on the food you eat, and then you poop out the rest, more or less. So you need your macronutrients in particular scale and proportion to your lifestyle. Fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, right? Fats help with your body's regulation, and it's an energy source, but it's the energy source that your body burns last, right? Carbohydrates is instant fuel in your body. Sugar, more or less, your body utilizes that a lot faster. And then there's the proteins, which are the building blocks of all your cells. Any cellular reaction in your body, a protein is responsible for it. So proteins are a very, very vital component. So you want to have a balance of fast carbohydrates and proteins in your diet. There are certain diets that are predicated on higher fat content, such as the ketogenic diet, which promotes eating more healthy fats, little to no carbohydrates, and high protein. And the studies have shown the effectiveness of that diet because it forces your body to now activate its fat stores and use that as a source of energy. It forces your body into reacting to using just fats as your energy source. Once you start to do that, your body begins to burn weight, right? And that does work for a lot of people, but it's not a silver bullet diet. Personally, when it comes to dieting and the connotation that comes from the word dieting, we tend to think of it negatively. But the simplest thing to do, if you're not in the financial position to eat a certain way, is to basically just look at what you are currently consuming. Let's look at it, examine it, what you're currently consuming, and make reductions in your intake, coupled with your exercise, coupled with your good sleep cycles, or sleep regimen. Coupled with those two things, manage what your intake is, because the reason why dietitians, the reason why trainers and nutritionists would advise you to eat certain foods is because certain foods have particular nutritional value. But in the absence of those things, in the absence of the finances to actually maintain such an elaborate diet, you look at what you're currently consuming and try to change or tweak the composition of those meals and reduce or eliminate certain things from it, so you're having enough caloric intake that you're able to still survive and eat what you have access to in an affordable way and still achieve your fitness goals. And that, again, is the easiest way to do it. In Guyana, we have lots of fruits and vegetables that can be used as alternatives for a lot of the diets that are touted, and you see that touted to have the most results in the media. So you have to be mindful of that. I cannot stress enough how important the food, again, 50%. 50% of your plan should be predicated on your intake, right? You must be able to understand what some of the foods that are activating issues in your body. In recent times, recent times, foods like that have. Let me back it up. Sometimes we have issues with. Nowadays, we see this spike in issues with. I lost my train of thought. This food, you are gluten sensitive. Gluten is actually a protein that helps to bind products together. Right. Now, gluten sensitivity is a real thing nowadays, where you have persons that are consuming foods that have gluten sensitivity, and it causes them to unnaturally bloat and spiral out of control with their weight. So those are things that you have to be aware of. All right. So to bring it home, sorry to end so abruptly. We're wrapping up in time. To bring it home, it's important that we understand the necessity of having a exercise program that is suitable for us. It's important that we understand the necessity for sleep and adequate amounts of it to help with our recovery and rejuvenation. And we must, and most importantly, understand our intake and how that particular combination of things is going to maximize our results. There's no silver bullet to any of this, and it's important that we focus on having a structured and planned approach. Utilize people in the industry that have the knowledge, that are able to assist you and help you. If you got to spend some money to get it, spend the money to get it. There's no price tag you can place on your health. It's none. No price tag on your health. And again, you need to make yourself a priority. That's a staple statement on the show, making yourself a priority. So to close, Make sure you're getting that exercise in. Make sure you're getting that good sleep. Make sure that you're eating adequately for your needs. All right? And once you do that over time, you do that consistently, you will begin to manifest the results that you desire. So, as always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and joining us here on the TBN network, wherever you're joining us from. We appreciate the views. I must say, our viewership has increased a bit, so that's a good sign that persons are tuning in and getting the benefit from our show, and that was the initial and continuous intent of the show. So thank you guys for joining us today on TBN Network here at Fun, Fit, and Healthy. I'm your trainer, Coel. Always a pleasure being with you and sharing and having and advancing this dialogue on health and fitness related matters. So you guys take care and have a wonderful rest of the day, and do enjoy the rest of your week. I'd say tune in tomorrow for our upper body blast. It's been a good one. It's a really good one tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. All right. So take care.